अभी सुनाई दे रहा है श्वेत?
Yes, Amit, I can hear you now. Amit, Vinayak has joined. Vinayak के बाकी सारे topics हो गए from previous batch. He is उसका ये pending था migration, but no one else has joined. So, do you want to continue with this or what? I'm okay to continue with this. How about you? Do you want to wait for Sanmitra or
सन्मित्र शायद उसको ये
wait as in
बेबी
for
हुआ है
tomorrow? Yes, yes. He told me he's not joining today.
तो शायद
He's definitely
मुझे
not joining today. He told me.
बाकी लोग
So, how do you want to go with this? Do you want to continue today's session or you want me to wait and complete it when others join? I'm
yeah, that
comfortable
also
with
fine.
both. And if you are planning to give interview, if you think you are already doing well and you don't want to wait, so we can continue today and rest of them can watch the videos also. That I leave up to you. I am okay. I have 2 hours now to spend. I leave the decision up to you. Do you want me to continue? We can do that right away. Or maybe let's continue with this, right? As it's just a theory part today. Practical
हम्म.
will be doing in next session. So let's say if others are joining next session.
ठीक.
Okay. So do you have any questions from previous sessions which we had on migration? Because I'm telling you, trust me on this. Even if you are not able to answer other things, it is still doable. They will, in anyone who is taking your interview, they will, push you a bit, but they will select you if you're not able to answer other questions. As far as you are able to answer everything correctly on migration, it's a very it's a hot topic, it's key topic because most of the work which is there in the market, it's on migration. Companies are still moving their workloads to migration. So if you have any details, any doubts, any minute doubt, any question, feel free to ask.
So हमने वो डेटा बॉक्स के बारे में डिस्कस किया था.
Right.
उसमें एक और पार्ट है जो एक्चुअली वो जो इंटरव्यू में भी मुझे मतलब वो जेडी में देखा होगा, गेटवे करके, डेटा बॉक्स गेटवे.
Data box
वो
gateway. Right, right.
इज
We'll
इट
do that. That
पार्ट
is a
ऑफ आवर
practical.
सिलेबस?
Yes, 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 it is, it is. But बहुत ही rare है. You can just give it as an option कि यार ये भी एक option होता है. You can simply say I have not done that. See, again, I'm telling you, I'm not pushing you guys towards data side. This will be done by data analysis, and this is a different thing when it comes to data. But that does not mean we'll leave that practical. वो वाला हम कर लेंगे. Let me show it to you. Let's start with that only. So if I go for Azure Migrate data box, okay, I'm importing. Let's say I've selected XYZ. This is my region. Okay, one more person has joined, so it's good. We can plan to continue.
नहीं, इसमें
So this,
एक
I
टोटली
got your
अलग.
question. I got your question. The gateway, I am familiar with that. Don't worry.
ओके.
Sorry, didn't mean to interrupt you, but I have been telling you guys that
अच्छा.
we are with minimum time, so I tend to skip your questions, which I'm sure that what you're asking. So I got your question. You're talking about the gateway of data transfer, what you do, right? For the migration. So let me share the doc. I think it is already there in my OneNote. If it is not there, let me share that with you. So that is nothing but what happened. I'll tell you. The last option, do you remember which last option did we discuss? Other than this, I told you that there are more options to do a data migration specifically to data. I told you a simple copy paste also. It's a small one, but it is also a migration. So what other option did we discuss? Or what do you, based on our training, what comes to your mind?
The last thing which we discussed was easy copy, or
Exactly. Easy copy through what?
the tool which was, I
Hmm?
forgot the name. Storage
Azure
Explorer.
Storage Explorer. That is the tool, right? Here. So your data gateway, it is nothing but your Azure Storage Explorer. I'm not saying this is your data gateway. Concept wise, I'm talking about. Okay.
Okay.
So you create a gateway. It is as good as a VPN connectivity. You can say you create a gateway between your on-prem and your cloud. So every data which you're planning to move, you can do it from there. How to configure that? We'll see that in practical. I told you practical we have not started, neither for servers nor for data. In practical we have not started. But the concept wise, if you want to understand, it's nothing. The key
See.
difference I'll tell you in this concept and data gateway. Here you have to see assessment and everything you have to do here also in data gateway also. Everywhere you have to do the same thing. The only change which you have in this method, the one which you are looking at on your screen and data gateway, is here the physical intervention is involved. You are requesting for a data box disk. They are sending it to you. You are literally connecting cables and copying your data, and then you are sending it back to them. And then they are copying it. They are connecting it to your data center. They are copying it to your storage account. Is that clear?
Mhm.
Similar thing here. It's just the difference of features and size. Here it's up to 30 TB, 35 TB, 80 TB, 800 TB. If you take this service, you get 5 days, you get 10 days, you get some days extra. In this service, it will the all data will be copied into one storage account. Later you will have to segregate. In this service, you can select, you have the option to select 10 storage accounts, and then accordingly you can ask them, okay, this 8 TB data, this much should go to this account. And I mean, that will be, everything will be there in detail. It doesn't work like on a phone call or something. That is not the case. के teams पे आपने ping कर दिया यार इतना यहाँ से उठा के ये folder उसमें डाल दो. That is not the way. You have to fill forms and Excel files and everything. बहुत लंबा चौड़ा process होता है उसमें. ठीक है. So from this data, this folder, data marking वगैरह बहुत कुछ होता है. So exactly सही data सही storage account में जाना चाहिए. Just to make sure. एक लंबे
So,
जो है practice होती है वो. Yeah, tell me.
अगर हम बोल रहे हैं कि हमने डेटा माइग्रेशन किया है,
Hmm.
तो बेसिकली क्या क्या बोलना चाहिए ज्यादा? ओनली दैट स्टोरेज एक्सप्लोरर एंड वी क्रिएटेड लाइक blob containers and all, right?
Well, don't worry. We will cover interview section we have differently, right?
Okay.
यहाँ पर हम कॉन्सेप्ट समझते हैं. इंटरव्यू
Okay.
का सेक्शन के स्टोरी क्या बनानी है, आप लोगों ने क्या किया, व्हाट डिड यू डू, व्हाट वाज योर प्रोजेक्ट लाइक in 2 years, what all projects have you worked on, what all technologies have you worked on, what was the difficulty, what is the uh, most difficult situation you were stuck in, what did you do, ये सारे चीजें हम करने वाले हैं. हाउ बिग द टीम वाज, क्या क्या टेक्नोलॉजी यूज की, क्या टूल्स यूज किए, माइक्रोसॉफ्ट का सपोर्ट था या नहीं था, आर्किटेक्चर डायग्राम कैसा था, डिड यू मेक एनी चेंजेस, डिड यू गिव एनी सजेशन, डिड यू फाइंड एनी फ्लॉ इन आर्किटेक्चर डायग्राम व्हिच इज टेक्निकली नॉट पॉसिबल, इफ यस व्हाट डिड यू डू. ये सारे क्वेश्चंस हम एड्रेस करेंगे इंटरव्यूज में. ठीक है. एंड ट्रस्ट में दिस इज नॉट वन ऑफ देम, दिस सेक्शन इज नॉट वन ऑफ देम. मतलब इतने टाइम मैंने काम किया, अब तक हमने भी कभी इसको ऑर्डर नहीं किया है. मोस्ट ऑफ द टाइम यू विल सी ये जो है एंटरप्राइज अग्रीमेंट जब करते हैं वो लोग, तभी ये सब कुछ डिसाइड हो जाता है इतना डेटा, एंड देन माइक्रोसॉफ्ट टीम दे देमसेल्फ विल टेल देम कि ओके यू कैन गो अहेड विद दिस, और वो वहीं पर सब कुछ उनके लिए कर देते हैं. सो दिस विल नॉट कम टू यू, आई एम श्योर अबाउट इट. और इंटरव्यू में भी इतना फोकस नहीं करेंगे इस पे. ओके, बट स्टिल वी विल लर्न दिस, एंड जितना भी पॉसिबल है वो प्रैक्टिकल करेंगे. इसमें से कोई भी प्रैक्टिकल वी कैन नॉट डू, because here requesting the physical disk is involved, sending the physical disk back to them, it is involved. Even if it is 1 TB disk, still even if I select this, you saw right last time I selected this, and you saw that form, right? We have to create a job, give a name, destination of Azure region. Let's say I'm taking this destination. Then I have to select a storage account. If I do not have, I will have to create a storage account, that this data from this disk should go to this storage account only. Okay, this is the journal file. See, journal file, it will have each drive कुछ preparation होगा, BitLocker key से encryption होगा, that you will have to upload it here. Once I uploaded this file also, if you remember, I created one dummy XML file and uploaded, and then you get address details and everything. Where do you want us to send this disk? They will send it, you copy your data, and then you send it back. So we can't do this practical. So for all these four, we will not do it here. Not possible for us to do. This is not even available for India region. This is only for East US region. But you should know about this. In interview, you should be able to speak about this. Okay, I know this is how it works. Though I have not done this, it wasn't there in my project. I never got a chance to work on that, but I know how it works. and data gateway, that is something virtually that we will see. उसमें VPN connectivity वगैरह करनी पड़ेगी आप लोगों को. Clear, Amit? Your doubt?
ठीक ठीक.
Hussein, Vinayak, any doubt on this?
No, sir.
But to understand gateway, Amit, this is the concept, right? From here also you're doing a copy paste, and robocopy you have been mentioning. When you mention robocopy, do you know how to do a robocopy,
नहीं.
Amit?
No.
Right, so if you don't know something, do not mention, but we will discuss robocopy for sure. It is there. Where did you read, by the way, robocopy word?
नहीं robocopy gateway actually वो मैंने जो JD शेयर किया ना.
Okay, was it there? Okay. I
हाँ
think we have it
उसमें
here
इस
also. Let me search.
उसमें वो सब क्वेश्चंस थे कि लो लेटेंसी कनेक्शन कैश क्रिएट करना स्टोरेज के लिए और गेटवे.
I have mentioned that already. Robocopy thing I have mentioned here in our document also, stating that this was one of the let me see if it is here it is AZ copy. So when you say robocopy, AZ copy utility, at background it uses robocopy.
Okay.
So when will we do it? This we will discuss when we talk about interviews and sessions and scenarios की जब हम बात करेंगे ना, that time we will discuss कि किस तरह का latency होता है. I'll give you a scenario also. I have written it here somewhere. If you go through this OneNote properly, you will find that scenario. Let me see. Now, as we have time today, let me see if we have it. It's a nice thing you mentioned, and I'm sure I have it here. Maybe here in scenarios, process and flow, team. Best practice. Okay, this is very important question. Best practice for storage account. They will definitely ask. VM's not able to talk. Failure in infrastructure, hub and spoke. Here it is. Data migration use case. Okay. You can literally remember this story and explain it in your interview in your own words, that we had an application data migration from on-premises to Azure storage account. Okay, I mean, this answers exact the question what you have asked, and I thought you read it from here only. The only thing I didn't use robocopy word here. We have used AZ copy. I guess let's say what is there, because AZ copy and robocopy it's same thing. So we had an application data to migrate from on-prem to Azure storage account. File share, it wasn't a big data. Okay, you have to mention it clearly, because if it is big data, then there are different methods. Okay, so you have to specifically mention that it was a small data and still we had this issue. So it gives confidence to them that you know कि छोटे इसमें भी किस तरह के issues आते हैं. It shows that you have really worked. Okay, so you will have to do not forget this sentence, that it wasn't a big data. It was hardly 15 GB of data in total. इसको as it is मगअप कर लेना, पढ़ लेना. ठीक है, बट इंटरव्यू से पहले 2-4 बार पढ़ लेना तो वो फ्लो आ जाएगा. So you have to start from here again, that we had an application data to migrate from on-prem to Azure storage account. Here you can add some things, maybe banking data, medical data, health data. That is up to you. I leave it up to you guys. Okay, whatever you want to do it. Insurance companies data or whatever you're currently working on, you can mention that. It wasn't what was it? It was file share. It wasn't big data. It was hardly or it was only 15 GB in total. That was the size of data. However, the number of files were too many, approximately 5 million files. Okay, so it's not always the case that if it is only 15 GB data, you will only have 1 or 2 files. No, that is not the case. What could be what kind of data it could be? Can anyone tell me? Where I have only 15 GB but 5 million files. What do you think? What kind of data will look like this? I understand
Text
you. I hope you understand the number 5 million is a huge number. For 15 GB, 5 million, it's too much. What kind of data it could be?
text files.
No, that is not the. That's not what I meant. Data's
Could you
format. I'm
please
not
repeat the
asking.
question?
what kind of data it could be where it is only 15 GB and it has 5 million files, be it text file or anything? What do you think? What kind of
It,
data will generate?
it
Logs data. That's okay. Logs data.
log, log
Logs में
data. Right.
क्योंकि एक लाइन जो है ना जनरेट होता है. So for 15 GB, it's a small thing. एक छोटा सा maybe एक ISO image 15 GB में आ जाएगा. But when I'm saying it's only 15 GB, but 5 million files, so it has to be log data. Log data के अलावा कोई और इतना यूज बनता ही नहीं है. 5 million, it's a big number for 15 GB. So most of the time it is a log data. You don't have to mention it though. So you can say that it was a small data, only 15 GB in total. However, the number of files were too many, approximately 5 million files. Okay. We had good network bandwidth. Okay. Based on that, we designed to move. Here you can say it was designed and we were just implementing. You can tweak it as per your role. Or we designed to move, or you can say our architecture team designed, or we were also part of that. You can stay on this one also. We designed it to move by mapping Azure file share on local server. Now I hope you remember this. What is this? We have done this, right? That sharing the Azure file uh, on local server, where you see this as a local storage, a network storage drive. Do you remember it,
Mm-hmm.
Amit Hussain?
Yes.
We have done that, right? And
Files.
designed it to copy paste manually. So what am I saying here? That because it was only 15 GB, what did we decide, or what our team decided? That we'll go ahead here, we'll create a storage account. Understand this scenario, guys. Yeah. Though I have kept this for interview, but now you have asked, because you have asked, Amit. So let's continue with this. Hussein, are you getting it? Or so what am I saying here? That 15 GB का data था सिर्फ, 5 million files थे. It's only 15 GB. So what we decided that we'll create a storage account. We'll create a file share. With that file share, see this file share we can. How can we access this file share? Can someone tell me? How can I access this file share?
We have to mount it on a drive.
Exactly. I can use
Mount.
it from the portal also, but that's what that's not the question here, right? Yes, we can mount it on. Can I do it only on Windows, or can I do it on Mac also, or Linux also?
All operating system.
Exactly. So from here, you can click on connect, and this is what you get. You simply have to copy this, paste it on your PowerShell, hit enter, and you will see a Z drive. So this is what we planned, you can say. Sorry, because it was only 15 GB data. We planned to have a storage count, have a file share, and copy it manually. That is what we planned. Okay. Till here, is it clear till here that this is copy paste manually? Is it clear, Amit, Vinayak?
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Okay. You can say we did that.
yes.
However, we started copying, it showed 104 expected days for copy operation to complete. Do you know that a window comes if you try to copy something? If you want, you can try it in your local drive also. Try to copy a huge file from one folder to another, and you will see that pop up that these many days are pending. Are you guys getting it?
Mm-hmm. Right. Exactly.
Let me see if I can bring up the image. It will clear the something like this. Exactly like this, not something. If you see, copying this much amount from here to here, and the time remaining, it is calculating. Once the calculation is done, then it shows here 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 day, 2 day. If it is huge data, it will show you 4 days also, whatever it is. Is it clear? Did you understand what am I talking about here?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Right.
the one I'm talking about. ये जो time remaining लिखा है ना, this sorry time remaining, the one which is calculating, ये calculate होने के बाद आपको बता देता है कि कितना time इसमें लगने वाला है. Let me see if we have that here. But I am sure you got it, right? Here it is.
Yes.
I
Right.
got. See, 21 hours are remaining. So sorry, in your story you are saying that we did that and it was showing 104 days, and it happens, guys. Okay, this is real scenario, by the way, hence I've given it to you. No one will doubt it and no one will say nahi yaar aisa kabhi nahi hota hai. Trust me on this. Even if they say, be adamant on that, it has happened with me. Okay, so you can stick to this. That however it showed 104 expected days for copy. Plus it is not about the bandwidth. We had good network bandwidth. Before doing this practical, we always go ahead and check Microsoft's recommendation, what speed they are recommending. Do we have it? Do we have the bandwidth, everything get checked. So everything was checked. Just because there were 5 million files, that was the catch. That is the reason it showed these many days. Okay, then we realized through that we have, though we have a good network strength, however we are lacking at the throughput, because of which we are facing this issue. Now what is throughput? We'll discuss this जब हम copy ये करेंगे पूरा एक, we'll discuss this. I'm just giving you the scenario because Amit, you asked about the robo copy, right? So this is how you can make a story that we are lacking throughput, because of which we are facing this issue. So while creating another solution, why? Because this solution did not work. It worked, but we cannot wait for 104 days, right? That's impossible. Can you can you even think of this, that giving this solution to your client, that your 15 GB data, okay, will do it for you. We'll copy your on-premises 15 GB data to cloud, and it will take 104 days to copy. I mean, it sounds foolish, right? Client will never ever come back to you for 15 GB if you're going to take 104 days. So obviously that is not going to work. You have to design something else. So we realize that though we have a good network strength, it is not going to work because throughput is lacking. Hence we thought of another solution. So in another solution, we used data migration option from Storage Explorer. Okay, where ये कहाँ से करते हैं? I'll show it to you. From where do we do this assessment? I'll show it to you when we do practical. Okay, so here we have mentioned that resource types like this and data like this should be done using AZ copy. It is a command line data transfer utility. Okay, AZ copy or robo copy. So either you can do it using a command. उसका command आप Google पे कर सकते हो, or when I do the practical, I'll show it to you. You can do that one, or if you don't want to deal with that, you can simply do the AZ copy here. Which is the AZ copy option here? Can someone tell me? If I'm copying something here, which is the AZ copy option? Yes, anyone?
The upload button, upload option, right?
Right. The moment you do upload, that at the background, it works in AZ copy, and you will see it here. If I start uploading some file, you can try it on your storage account. Try uploading some file. See. You'll see it here, that, and it will give you the command also. If you don't know the command, you don't want to Google it, you copy one file and you will get command here, the AZ copy command. So this is what you can mention. So this is how we planned, and उसके आगे थोड़ा सा और story लिखा हुआ है that as one of the options which was suitable for data transfer high throughput, finally we decided to go with easy copy option and implemented successfully with platform engineers. Still it took 2 days. So this is how you have to close your story. Here you guys fit in here. This is I am telling the story to my interviewer from an architect point of view. You are saying this from a platform engineer point of view. So how to tweak it, it's up to you, but you can use the same story. Is it clear?
Sure.
Same thing, robocopy. Same thing will apply on your gateway. We'll see that चीजें अलग अलग है obviously, but the concept is same behind them. Okay, so let's get back to the migration topic. Any other question, Amit, from previous
No,
session? Okay.
that's
Okay. So I have discussed the migration का ये कैसे होता है, आपका start कहाँ से होता है, how do you think about migration, how do you start about migration. Today I'll let you know the flow of the migration, how the flow goes exactly. Okay, not in detail, but how the flow goes. Pre-migration क्या होता है, post-migration क्या होता है, and this can be your interview answer also. In fact, this has to be your interview answer. You can add few things here and there. Okay, so when we talk about migration, whenever you start giving answer, start with pre-migration, or first explain what is migration, what do you understand by migration. Moving a machine from here and there, that is migration. Even from a resource group to there, it is a migration. From one resource group to another resource group, that is a migration. From one region to another region, that is a migration. From one subscription to another subscription, migration. One cloud to another cloud, AWS to Azure, migration. Azure to AWS, it is migration. Cloud, GCP, Google Cloud Platform to Azure, it is migration. Everything wherever you're moving your machine or data, anything, that is migration. I mean, the little meaning of migration that you can apply here. But those are very simple tasks. So when they ask about migration, they interviewers most of the time, they do not mean that how do you move a machine from one subscription to another subscription. No, that is not the intent behind asking a migration question. Most of the time when we talk about migration in interviews, it is from on-prem, from cloud to cloud also, it is easy. Okay, so they are not going to ask you. If you can do an on-prem machine migration from on-premises data center to Azure or to any cloud, you can do other things. That is implied. So instead of asking other things, they will ask you the hardest thing. Is it clear? Just because when I say migration and when I talk about on-prem to Azure, that doesn't mean that it is the only meaning of migration. Migration could be anything, but it is implied uh, in interview when they are talking about migration. It is about from on-prem migration to cloud. And if they want to be very specific, then they will ask you, okay, no, I am specifically talking about from GCP to Azure. In that answer also, you have to talk about the Azure part. And you can say GCP task to take care of the GCP task. They have their GCP engineer. They had a cloud engineer who was working on GCP. I'm aware of Azure and all tasks. And this happens. I mean, when it comes to migration, there are plenty of tasks. Few tasks you have to do on portal. Few tasks are there which, if it is on-prem migration, system engineers or Windows or Linux engineer, we spare engineers or admins, they have to do at their end. So that is very normal. You can say the same thing कि AWS के लिए अलग था, they used to do their task, I used to do mine. But at least concept पता होना चाहिए. Okay. So when we start about migration, talk about migration, explain what is migration, and then we can talk about again how many projects you did, team member, everything. That is a part of interview preparation. We'll do that later. So I'm skipping that part as of now, directly coming for the migration. So before we even migrate, there is a pre-migration era. Okay, what do we do in pre-migration? You can clearly say, though I am not a part of this, but I know the process, how it works. So what happens in pre-migration, that we review. Okay, we as in now here you're talking about your team, your uh, management team, your architecture team, anything, but you can answer. You can add this. So make them understand that you know end-to-end process, how it works. So we review cost, services, provider, etc. Okay, you are not directly jumping to Azure. Whenever a migration happens, no one will say, okay, let's Azure because I like Azure. No, they will do a review of cost, services, provider, etc. Now, what do you mean by cost? It is very simple. You can go to Azure calculator, check a machine's price, that 4 GB RAM, 4 CPU, 500 GB hard disk. How much is it costing and how much it is costing on AWS? That is review. Okay, but this is very small scale. I have told you that there are many things, but I hope you understood the concept. Services based on region. I am a client from UAE. Okay, AWS there in UAE from last 5 years. They have plenty of services. Azure has just come this year. I'm just quoting numbers randomly. Okay, I don't literally mean that they have come now. I don't know about that. We can check that online always. So example, AWS is there from last 5 years. Azure has just come now. AWS has many services. Azure doesn't have that service here. And my application has to be in UAE due to some compliance reason. So that review we have to do. Okay. and based on that we select a provider, whether we are going with Azure, whether we are going with AWS. This assessment takes months. अपने आप में assessment जो है काफी time लगता है इसको, months as in 2-3 months लग जाते हैं, sometimes 2 months let's say. Okay, who does this assessment? Mostly there is a team called Cloud Center of Excellence team. Your higher management will be there, FinOps team will be there, CFO finance team से जितना कुछ होगा वो होगा, architect team will be there. This part. Next, mention this team's name. Okay, it gives confidence that Cloud Center of Excellence team takes care of this. Being a part of that. Uh, this assessment takes fine. Being a part of that, we discuss. So you can mention, you can skip this one, that being a part of that. You don't have to say that you are a part of that. You can mention that team discuss what they discuss. Timeline. Okay, what should be the timeline? ऐसा नहीं कि आप migration साल 2 साल करते रहोगे, एक timeline होना चाहिए. Failover. Most important, downtime. What is the downtime you can afford? I'm moving 1,000 machines, but out of those 1,000 machines, okay, 800 are not those critical machines. I can afford a downtime of 5-6 hours. But 200 machines, those are very critical. I can hardly afford downtime on them. So all these things are where these are discussed in pre-migration era or pre-migration meetings, you can say. There's only 1 minute is left. I'm disconnecting this session and starting with the same link immediately without any break.
Okay.